My name is Alina. I'm 29 years old. And this is my story. 3 years ago, I got married. Not in a big hall. Not with hundreds of guests. It was a small wedding. Simple. Quiet. Just like me. He stood beside me in a cream-colored kurta. His eyes were full of hope. And I smiled. Not a fake smile. Just a calm one. Like I was stepping into something new, but safe. People said we looked good together. That we would be happy. That we were lucky. And maybe we were. In those first months. He tried hard. He cooked dinner on Sundays. He made tea for me in the evenings. He asked how my day was. And he really listened. I remember once. I said I liked a book I saw at the store. The next day, it was on my bed. Wrapped in paper. With a small note. I smiled then. A full smile. Because no one had done that before. At night, he would sit next to me. We would talk about little things. Movies. Childhood. What we wanted in life. It felt soft. It felt slow. And I told myself, maybe this is what love feels like. Not loud. Not fire. But quiet warmth. Like a blanket in winter. Like warm hands holding cold ones. In those days, I tried too. I made his favorite food. I laughed at his silly jokes. I folded his shirts with care. There was peace in the house. Even when we didn't speak much. It felt calm. No shouting. No storms. Just two people, sharing space. Sometimes I would lie in bed and think, I'm lucky. He's not perfect. But he's good. And good is rare. So I whispered thank you. To no one, just the ceiling. Time passed. Days turned into weeks. Weeks into months. We fell into a rhythm. Morning tea. Evening news. Dinner at 8. It all felt normal. Safe. Predictable. But slowly, very slowly. Things began to change. Not big things. Small things. Soft cracks I didn't notice at first. He stopped asking how my day was. He still came home on time. But he looked tired. More tired than before. He ate dinner quietly. No jokes. No stories. I told him a funny thing that happened with my neighbor. He just nodded. Didn't even smile. I looked at him. He looked at his phone. That night, I sat on the bed alone. He was in the other room, watching TV. I held my knees. Looked at the ceiling. And thought, is this how love fades? Not like fire burning out. But like a candle. Softly losing its light. I still made his tea. Still folded his clothes. Still smiled when he left for work. But something inside me felt heavy. Like I was holding my breath all day. And I didn't know why. He was still kind. He didn't shout. He didn't leave. But he didn't see me either. Like I had become a piece of the wall. Always there. But never noticed. Sometimes I thought, maybe I'm just being sensitive. Maybe this is what happens in marriage. Maybe I should be happy. Because nothing is wrong. But deep in my heart, I missed something. Not a gift. Not flowers. I missed feeling seen. I missed feeling wanted. I missed being his person. And that was the beginning of the silence between us. I didn't want to give up. Not so soon. Not after all the good days we had. So I tried. Quietly. Softly. Without asking for anything back. I made his favorite breakfast. I picked out his clothes on cold mornings. I waited for him to come home. Even when he was late. When he forgot to say goodnight. I didn't mind. I told myself. He's just tired. Work is hard. One night, I asked him. Do you want to go out this weekend? Somewhere quiet. Just us. He said, maybe. That maybe stayed with me for days. It was not a no. But it wasn't a yes either. Still, I planned a small outing. A simple dinner. Nothing fancy. I wore the dress he liked. I even curled my hair. When he saw me, he said nothing. He just picked up his keys and said, let's go. We sat at the table. The food was warm, but we were cold. He ate in silence. I watched him. I wanted to say so many things. I wanted to ask, are you still happy with me? But I stayed quiet. I was afraid. Afraid of the answer. Afraid he might not even care enough to answer. That night, I cried in the bathroom. Softly. With the water running. So he wouldn't hear. I looked in the mirror. And didn't know who I was anymore. A wife? A friend? A stranger? I wiped my tears. Walked back into the room. And smiled like nothing happened. Because I thought, if I try hard enough, maybe he will come back to me. Maybe the man I married is still somewhere inside him. So I kept trying. And I kept waiting. But love doesn't grow with only one heart. It needs two. It was a quiet afternoon. The house was still. The children were at school. He was at work. I was folding clothes. Putting socks in pairs. Fixing collars. Trying to feel normal. His shirt was in my hand. I held it close. It still smelled like him. That's when I felt something inside the pocket. A small paper. Folded once. I opened it slowly. My hands began to shake. It was a receipt. For a dinner. In a restaurant I had never been to. 2 people. Not one. A date and time I remembered. That was the night he came home late. He said he was in the office. I sat down. My knees felt weak. The room started spinning a little. I looked at the paper again. There was a name written. A woman's name. Not mine. My heart felt heavy. My chest was tight. I could not breathe for a moment. I kept telling myself, maybe it's nothing. Maybe it was work. But deep down, I knew. I knew this was more. That evening, I couldn't look at him the same. His voice felt distant. His smile felt fake. I wanted to scream. I wanted to ask, why? But I didn't. I stayed silent. Like always. I watched him eat dinner. He looked so calm. So normal. Like everything was okay. But inside me, everything was breaking. Later that night, he fell asleep early. I lay beside him, staring at the ceiling, eyes wide open. My pillow was wet. I had not even noticed I was crying. All I could think was, how long has this been happening? Was it just once? Or many times? And then the worst thought came. Was I ever enough? After I found the message, I wanted to scream. I wanted to ask him everything. But I didn't. I stayed quiet. I smiled when I had to. I cooked dinner. I packed lunch for the kids. I did the laundry. Outside, I looked normal. Inside, I was empty. Every night, I waited for him to talk to me. To say something. Anything. But he didn't. He came home late. He looked tired. Sometimes, he didn't even say goodnight. I asked once, "Are you okay?" He just nodded and went to sleep. That night, I sat on the kitchen floor. I didn't know what to do. The house was dark. The silence was loud. I held my knees close. Like a child. I cried into my arms. So no one could hear me. I looked at the clock. It was past midnight. He wasn't home yet. Again. I kept thinking. Is this my life now? Is this what marriage is? I felt like a ghost in my own house. Walking. Talking. But not really living. The children laughed. They ran around me. They asked me to play. I tried to smile. But my smile was tired. One morning, I looked in the mirror. My eyes looked old. Not from age, but from sadness. I touched my face and whispered, "Where did I go?" One afternoon, I went to the market. The sky was gray. Just like my heart. I walked slowly, looking at the vegetables, trying to forget my pain. But it followed me, like a shadow. Then, I saw someone. A face from my past. His name was Armin. We went to the same school. Many years ago. He looked at me, surprised. He smiled softly. And said hello. I smiled too. But my smile was small. He asked, "How are you?" I wanted to say I'm fine. But I wasn't. I looked into his eyes. And for the first time in a long time, I felt seen. He didn't laugh. He didn't look away. He just listened. And that meant everything to me. We didn't talk much. Just small things. The weather. Old memories. But his voice was warm. His presence was calm. When I walked away, my steps felt lighter. That night, I sat by the window. The house was quiet. He was asleep in the bedroom. The kids were dreaming. But I was awake. I looked up at the stars. And I whispered to myself, why does a stranger feel more kind than the man I married? I didn't want anything from Armin. Not love. Not promises. I just wanted someone to care. To ask how I was. To wait for my answer. And in that moment, I felt a small light inside. Not bright, but enough to help me breathe. A few days later, I went to the cafe. It was quiet. I just wanted some tea. And silence. But when I walked in, I saw Armin again. He was sitting near the window. Alone. He saw me. He waved. And smiled. Something inside me felt calm. Like the world paused. Just for a moment. I walked to his table. He asked if I wanted to sit. I nodded. We didn't talk much. Just simple words. About books. About the weather. About life in our town. But every word felt warm. He looked at me. Not like I was broken. Not like I was just someone's wife. He looked at me like I mattered. And that feeling, it stayed with me. That night, I made dinner like always. He came home like always. But something felt different. My heart had a small voice now. It whispered, "You are still a person. You still have feelings. You are still alive." We met again after that. Once a week. Sometimes in the park. Sometimes at the cafe. There were no gifts. No secrets. No promises. Just kindness. Just two people. Talking softly. Sharing quiet moments. I didn't feel love. But I felt seen. And that was something I had not felt in a very long time. One evening, I came home late from the cafe. The air was cold. But my heart was warm. Warm from kind words. From feeling human again. I went into the kitchen. He was already home. Sitting on the sofa. Quiet. Staring at his phone. I felt nervous. I didn't know why. But something felt wrong. Then I saw it. My phone was in his hand. He had read a message. A simple one. From Armin. It only said, "I hope your day was peaceful." But it was enough. He looked up at me. His face was hard. His eyes full of questions. And anger. He didn't shout at first. But his voice was cold. Like ice. He asked who this man was. Was I seeing someone? I stood still. My hands were shaking. I said no. I just needed someone to talk to. Because you were not there. He didn't speak. He walked away. That night, the house felt like a storm. Not loud. But full of broken pieces. The silence hurt more than words. I sat on the bed. Alone. And I cried quietly. So the children wouldn't hear. I was not guilty. But I still felt pain. All I wanted was to be heard. To feel like I mattered. But now. Everything was broken. That night. He didn't sleep in our bed. He stayed in the other room. I couldn't sleep either. My heart was full of noise. My mind kept asking. Did I do something wrong? In the morning. I made tea. The house was quiet. Too quiet. He walked into the kitchen. He looked tired. His face was not angry now. Just sad. For a moment. We both stood in silence. Two people. In the same house. But far from each other. Then, slowly. He sat down. He looked at me. For the first time in a long time. He really looked at me. His eyes were red. His hands were shaking a little. He said he was sorry. He said he didn't know. I was so lonely. He didn't see it. He didn't ask. I felt something break inside me. Not in a bad way, but like a wall falling down. I said I missed him. I missed how we used to laugh. How we used to sit together. Without phones. Without silence. He nodded. He said he got lost in work. In stress. In everything except me. I didn't cry. But my eyes felt heavy. That morning. We talked. Not like husband and wife. But like two souls. Trying to find their way back. It wasn't perfect. But it was real. One Sunday morning. He asked me if I wanted to take a walk. I said yes. It had been so long. Since we walked together. Like old times. Before life became heavy. We went to the river. The sky was light blue. The water moved slowly. Like my heart. People were sitting on the grass. Children were feeding the ducks. Old couples held hands. Everything felt peaceful. We walked side by side. Not speaking much. Just listening. To the world. And to the silence between us. Then. He stopped. He looked at the water. His voice was soft. He said he missed this. He missed us. I looked at him. He seemed different. Not perfect. But softer. Real. He slowly held my hand. I didn't pull away. But I didn't hold tight either. It felt strange. Familiar. But new. He said he wanted to try again. To be better. To see me. Really see me. I didn't answer. But inside. I felt a small light. Not fire. Just a little warm light. As we walked back home. The wind touched my face gently. I closed my eyes for a moment. Maybe this was not the end. Maybe it was a new start. One small step. At a time. Now, when I wake up, I don't expect a perfect day. I just hope for a quiet moment. A kind word. A warm cup of tea. Our love is not the same as it was in the beginning. It has changed. It has broken. And it has healed, slowly. Sometimes. I still feel pain. Sometimes. I still remember the nights I cried. But I also remember the moments. He stayed. He listened. He tried. We are not the same people we were. But maybe. We are learning to love again. Not fast. Not loud. But real. One day. One breath. One look at a time. If you are listening. And you feel lost. Please remember. You are not alone. Your pain is real. Your hope still matters. Take a deep breath. Start again. Even a broken heart can feel light again. Thank you for listening to my story.